quite a bit of an effort to shoot ourselves, well, one should say in the foot, but I think sometimes it's in the head. So now the times are not easy. And it's almost ridiculous to kind of see the seeping in of the transitional role of gas, where, you know, and I'm sure many of you were saying for years that to actually increase our dependency on autocratic regimes, on supplying the actually energy to us, might not be the best idea. Yet, well, we saw Nord Stream 2, we saw the increase in the energy, and now sitting there, actually, I just saw the latest newsletter from the Slovak Gas Association saying, yeah, they did opinion poll, and 91% of the people trust and would recommend again the gas heating. And this is horrible. This is something which indeed is a big matter of concern, especially when you see the, as it was said, the kind of the misinformation out there about heat pumps, which for me it's kind of, you would be saying, well, you know, the fridge is not going to work in summer. Because they'll tell me if I'm really telling something silly, but, you know, fridge and heat pump, it's kind of similar. I know, technically the expert would disagree, but I think there is enough for us common folk similarity to use this. I think one of the crucial things for this mandate is to adapt and use basically maybe different. There was a joke, and so that it's not. Let's not call it Green Deal. Let's call it Clean Deal, and you know the content is the same. But actually, you know what? My big hope is in people in this room, in all of you, in the European businesses, and by European I mean those operating in Europe. We cannot say, well, only those which are European owned are relevant, because this is about actually businesses being part of driving the change. This is about all of you saying, look, we want to provide quality jobs. Can you please stop putting us roadblocks in a way? Because that's part of the big problem, is that it's not only about the kind of subsidies, and everybody talks about subsidies here, subsidies there. But what I keep on hearing from lots of business sectors is actually insane amount of roadblocks in the construction business. Every country has a bit different regulation, from fire safety to whatever technical parameters they have. So, you know, it's not about the big producers, although it's also, you know, a big level of useless administrative burden that could be saved, ultimately make the price cheaper and so on. But if you are a small company that's providing installation and services for heat pumps in the border region, suddenly you face incredible lot of useless administration that you have to face. We pretend that we are a single market. We are not. We pretend that we support the transition, and yet we're pumping billions and billions in the fossil fuel subsidies. It's not even a fair game for you guys. And I think that's something which we will really need to change. And I'm not even talking about all the factors that were mentioned, from, you know, buying and financing slightly genocidal maniac and his regime might not be the best idea, and kind of keeping the money in our economy, in our households, in our regions might be actually a good idea. Climate matters. You know, I come from Central Europe. We just had massive floods after a really, really hot summer and dry summer. So all these arguments are highly relevant, but at the end of the day, what you're asking is for a fair game. And you're not even getting that. One of the things I believe we really need to watch out for, and that's for me a lesson learned from the Germany. And I would like to hear also in the panel one important thing. You know what did a very negative, or what had a very negative impact on the whole transition to heat pumps? When the German government had the idea to say, oh, we're going to basically ban the gas. You somehow subconsciously want to keep this precious stuff that's going to be banned. And yes, there is going to be a moment where you basically need to wipe out the rest of the market and complete the transition by basically saying, okay, since then you cannot install it anymore. But I think they did it too early. You need to be bigger moment of the kind of the disruption curve on the market to be able to say that everybody feels confident. Of course, it's like we don't need it anymore, and because of the associated pollution, we don't want to keep it. Also, what, let's be honest, you have very hard is the competition. And the competition, not the producers of the gas boilers. It's the gas industry, which is a really formidable opponent, and really, really powerful opponent with lots of connections, which basically are resulting in a taxation regime in a number of the member states, including my own, which, make the business model for using heat pump harder. I think here, yes, it's going to be really needed to push for legislative changes, but there is my little recommendation: look at something which the people have in them, and that's the desire for resilience. In uncertain time, they want to be able to rely on themselves. And I think heat pump in combination with photovoltaics on your roof, where heat pump can provide part of the energy storage, is something which can be for the people an attractive proposition, because then you don't even depend to some extent on the price of the electricity on the market, because you don't price the sun. So looking at really different segments and going beyond the kind of focus approach and working with other stakeholders in your field, I think is going to be important. What I would also see as a more broader European political opportunity is the housing. You might have noticed that for the first time there is going to be explicitly mentioned portfolio of housing in the college. So there is clearly a problem with housing. We've been talking about it in the parliament for a while, and this is something which is generally for the young generation a huge, huge problem. And part of it is a speculation on the market, but part of it is the simple unavailability of a decent housing on the market and need for construction of new housing. It's combined also with the migration from the countryside into the cities and all these things. Now, the question is how to ensure that those new houses are not only energy efficient, but the heat that they have is not coming from gas, where heat pumps are pretty much the natural choice as an alternative. And I think this is going to be really important in the discussions and crucial for the whole heat pump environment to be part of, to make sure that we don't fall again in a trap of, we put some gas heating there now, but then later on we'll change it. 2050 is in 26 years. That's very close. And I think this is where we don't have a time for doing intermediate solution. We have to go for solutions that can go beyond 2050 and provide a climate neutrality. I think in a new parliament, what is going to be another, and I'm more on the pessimistic side, but I think there is lots of good things, but I just want to more warn you, what is going to be under lots of pressure, lots of scrutiny is the ETS2. I can see it already in some member states, including my own, just the blanket refusal to implement it. And I think this is really bad news, especially since it also undermines the funding from the Social Climate Fund for the housing reconstruction and actually improvement of our housing stock, which again does not only benefit the companies that are in the energy efficiency business, but also benefit the transition to heat pumps. And the political minefield that there is, and it's going to be important to navigate, is that it's going to be blamed that, it's just about increasing the prices for the common people. And I think it's going to be really important. And I was very happy to hear about the customer journey, about how the people actually feel about the heat pumps. because it will be important to break things and say, look, guys, this is something which actually provides you with cheaper solutions, which provides you with better self-reliance. And yeah, by the way, you don't finance the war and you know, help the climate. That's kind of a bonus benefit. So I think, and yes, I spoke too long, sorry for that. Give the microphone to politician. But I think that at the end of the day, what I hope from this commission and from this parliament is that we will focus on delivery and making things happen. And I don't care if we call it clean or green or purple, as long as at the end of the day we are able to deliver. Thank you.